probably watching this because someone told you AI is going to change everything. And you've seen the demos, the robots, the avatars, the shiny stuff that looks impressive all over the internet but doesn't help you make payroll on Friday. So let me guess what you're thinking. Is this actually useful for my business, or is this just another thing that I'm supposed to figure out while I'm drowning? That's a fair question, and I'm going to answer it. But before I show you the 5 ways small businesses are actually using AI to make money, not play with toys, I need you to understand something. This is the idea that makes everything else work. Most people will not do what you want them to do. And that's marketing rule number 1. They won't always book, they won't always show up, they won't always respond. And that's not cynical, that's just business. So the amateur question is, what do I want the customers to do? And the better question, the question that separates businesses that grow from businesses that grind, is what happens when they don't. Because hope is not a contingency plan. And there's a lot of small businesses running on hope right now. Look, hope is wonderful in the church, but terrible operating system for a business. Every single thing I'm about to show you is a contingency plan, a system for what happens when people don't do what you want. And that's where AI can actually help. Not the flashy stuff, the backup stuff. So let's get into it. So let's start with the biggest leak in most small businesses. How many leads did you get last month? And how many of them actually became customers? If you're like most business owners, there's a gap there, like a big one. And here's what's interesting. Most people think that the answer is, I need more leads. But do you really? Or do you need to stop wasting the leads that you're already paid for? So here's what's actually happening. Somebody fills out a form on your website, they're interested, they're ready to talk, and nobody responds until tomorrow. Somebody asks a question in the DMs, and it gets buried under 47 other notifications. Then the owner says, well, we need more leads. No, you need to stop letting interested people disappear. Now, here's a stat that's going to make you uncomfortable. One study found that 23% of companies never responded to their leads at all. I mean, not slow, never. And the companies that did respond, they took 42 hours on average. That's almost 2 full days. I want you to picture this. Someone walks in your store in person and they look around and say, hey, I'm interested. And your team just kind of stares at them until like next Wednesday. That sounds ridiculous in person, right? But that's exactly what's happening online every single day. So before you spend another $1 on ads, before you pay for one more lead, stop murdering the leads you already have. Here's the thing about interest. It dies fast. When someone asks a question, they're warm right now, not tomorrow, not after lunch, like right now. And we've all sent that message before, haven't we? Hey, I'm sorry, I'm just seeing this. And that sentence has cost a lot of people a lot of money because while you were just seeing this, they were already booking with your competitor. And here's the painful part. They weren't even mad at you. They just needed help and they found someone else who answered faster than you did. So what if someone could answer for you? Not instead of you, before you. Someone lands on your website at 9 o'clock at night and asks, how much does this cost? What happens? If the answer is nothing until I wake up in the morning, well, that's a leak. AI chatbots can answer the basic questions. It can collect their info and can move them to the next step. And if someone in your Instagram DMs, they send you a message that says, do you have availability this week? Same thing. Answer, qualify, book, follow up if they disappear. Now, one study found that conversion rates were 8 times higher when the contact happened within the first 5 minutes. 8 times, that's not 8% higher, that's 8 times, 800% higher. And that's the difference between we got a customer and we got ghosted by somebody who is interested. Now look, most businesses are slow. Fast is an advantage. But here's where most people stop, and this is the mistake. They think, great, I'll get a chatbot, problem solved. Well, no. The chat is only the first step. The money comes from what happens next. What happens if they don't book? What happens if they ask about the price and then they disappear? What happens if they click the calendar and never pick a time? That's what the contingency plan is for, and we'll get there. But first, let's talk about the phone. A phone call is one of the strongest buying signals a customer can give you. They need help. They picked up the phone, they called. And listen, like if a millennial like me actually calls you, they're serious. That person fought every instinct in their body to avoid sending a text message. They probably rehearsed what they were going to say. They gathered up their courage and they called and nobody answered. A homeowner calls a plumber after hours, no answer. What do? They just called the next plumber. That's how fast the money leaves your business. And you don't need a national statistic to understand this. You just need to pull your own call logs. How many calls did you miss last week? How many were new numbers that you didn't recognize? How many people called once and never called you again? Then you got to ask the painful question. What is one customer worth to your business? $500, $2,000, $10,000? And how many of those did you miss? An AI voice assistant can answer when your team can't. It can ask what they need, collect the details, book the appointments, or send you a summary so you can call back. And that means the business actually has a chance to catch the call at 8:47 in the evening instead of losing the customer forever. This might be one of the most important parts of this whole video. AI chat and AI voice. Look, they catch the opportunity, but follow-up is what turns that opportunity into revenue. And it all comes back down to the same rule that we talked about already. Most people won't do what you want them to do. So you need a plan for the next moment. So they fill out the form, but they don't book. What happens? They get a quote, but they don't respond. What happens? They say, hey, let me think about it, and then they just disappear. What should happen? Most business owners have no answer. Or the answer is, well, look, Sharon usually follows up when she has time. That's not a system. That's Sharon carrying the company on her back with sticky notes and anxiety, right? Does your business have a Sharon? Is that Sharon you? Here's what a real follow-up system looks like. The next message sends automatically. If they don't book, hey, Sarah, I saw you were looking at appointments. Do you want me to send over a couple times? If they get a quote and then they disappear, hey, quick question. Are you still interested, or did you decide to go in a different direction? That's simple. It's human. It's clear. And here's why that last one really works. A yes is useful. A no is useful. A maybe is where the deals go to die. Follow-up moves people out of maybe towards a yes or towards a no. Either one is better than silence, because silence gives you nothing, and wondering is expensive. Now, some of you are thinking, but I don't want to be annoying. And let me reframe this for you. If someone filled out the form, they raised their hand. They said, I might be interested. Following up isn't annoying. It's doing your job. What's annoying is when they needed help, reached out, and nobody got back to them. That's annoying, especially to the customer. Every business now has a graveyard. Old leads, old quotes, old customers, and most people call them dead leads. I call them unworked opportunities. Some of them are dead, fine, but some of them still have the problem. They got busy, they got distracted, they weren't ready at the time, but the problem didn't go away. Their roof still leaks, their AC is still broken, they still need help. Dean Jackson had this concept that called the 9-word email. It's short, it's human, it's curiosity-based, and it just said, did you ever get that roof fixed? Are you still looking for help with this? That's it. No giant newsletter, no I hope this email finds you well, just like a simple question that reopens the conversation. And here's why this works so well. You're not buying new attention. You're waking up attention that you already paid for. The lead cost you money 6 months ago, and the reactivation email cost you almost nothing. And some of those people are ready now. They just forgot about you. Now let's talk about reviews. And I want you to think about how you buy. How do you pick a restaurant? Of course you look at the reviews. How many do they have? Are they recent? Do they look real? And let's be honest, you probably even read the 1-star reviews too, just to see if that customer was a crazy person or if the business was actually bad. And that's how everyone buys nowadays. They want proof that other human beings went first. There was a survey done by Bright Locals this year, 2026, that 97% of consumers read reviews for local businesses before they did business there, right? 97%. So if you run a local business, reviews aren't a nice to have. They're part of your sales process today. But here's what most businesses do. They do the job, they collect the money, and they just hope and pray that the customer leaves a review. Hope again, right? And here's what actually works. Automation should send the request right after the appointment. Something really simple. Hey, thanks again for working with us today. Would you mind leaving us an honest review? It helps other people know what to expect. And then it just sends the link. And if the customer forgets to submit the review, it just sends a polite reminder. That's it. That's what review management should be. And look, don't be stupid about this. Don't ask for fake reviews. Don't bribe people. Don't only ask happy customers. Ask for honest reviews and make it easy for them to do it, because proof makes selling so much easier, and reviews are proof. Now, this is where business owners get crushed. They've got one tool for email, one tool for texting, one tool for calendars, one for reviews, and somehow the lead doesn't get called back. And that's insane. You're paying for software and still losing opportunities. So when you look at an AI tool or any tool, don't just ask, what does this tool cost? You got to ask better questions. How many leads does it recover? How many missed calls does it catch? How much manual work does it remove? Because the goal is not to collect software like Pokemon cards. The goal is to install a system that can run your business. So like a lead comes in, the system should respond. The system follows up. The system books the appointment. The system reminds them to show up to their appointment. The system should reactivate them. It should ask for reviews. And when a human needs to step in, a human steps in. And that's why I built Scale and Success. Full disclosure, that's my system, but I built it because most business owners aren't losing because they lack one more app. They're losing because the path from interested to customer is full of holes. And they just don't have time to duct tape 6 different tools together. So listen, if you want help installing this kind of system, I'll put a link below. You can try Scale and Success free for 14 days, use it, test it. I'll help you build everything in 14 days. You can build something real with it. But listen, whether you use my system or another system or just build it yourself, remember the big point. AI increases return on investment when it catches missed opportunities, when it removes bottlenecks, when it creates contingency plans, when it gives the owner their time back, when it helps businesses respond faster than the competition. That's where the money is. The businesses that win with AI won't be the ones chasing every new flashy, cool tool. They'll be the ones with the fewest leaks. So let me ask you one last question. Where's your biggest leak right now? Is it response time? Is it follow-up? Is it the phone going unanswered? Is it leads sitting in a graveyard that nobody touched? Pick one. Fix that one first, and then fix the next one. That's how you build a business that doesn't run on hope. That's how you build a business that runs on systems. And that's how AI actually helps you. Not the flashy stuff, the backup plan stuff. So listen, if this is helpful, I'll see you in the next one.